What's up, friends? We all know about the broics. You've seen a million videos about it if you're in the philosophy scene on YouTube. The broics, the Andrew Tates, I don't know, would you classify Sneeko as a broic? I don't keep up with him. But you know the types. The people who take Stoicism and pervert it into a hustle, grind culture thing. They turn what Stoicism is into some Jocko Willink shit. But there is a sneakier kind of broic, in that those broics are out in the open, easy to see. There is another. The Bible speaks of false prophets. By their fruit you will recognize them. There is a kind of Stoic that can only be recognized by their fruits. People like Ryan Holiday. Now don't get me wrong, he knows a lot about Stoicism, but there's certain things that just were red flags to me when I heard him say it, or from what I've seen outside of his videos. And we're gonna get into it.
You think this is funny?
In a cosmic sort of way, yes.
Well, Mr. Funny Man, is this how you get your sick kicks?
What? It's just an ordinary crabby... Oh my goodness!
With that meme I just showed you, someone in my comments said he sells a cheaper version of Meditations, not for $119. I could not find that anywhere, at least not anywhere on his site. Maybe they're hiding in a cave somewhere, I don't know. But even if that is true, why would you sell a luxury version of a dude's journal? Marcus Aurelius probably wrote this shit on whatever pieces of paper he could find. They were little reminders to himself. Not only that, Marcus Aurelius wanted it to be burned when he died. It was not even that valuable. I believe if Marcus Aurelius saw this, he would be disgusted and saddened by it. $119 for his journal. Then I went to the jewelry section. Oh, the irony. Selling reminders of virtue for $245. Brass and silver, I believe. I might be wrong. I guess we've discovered the fifth Stoic virtue. Greed. I know you're not here for a history lesson, so I'll keep this brief with the history of Stoicism. It started with Socrates. Socrates then taught Antisthenes, who later taught Diogenes, who then taught Crates, who then taught Zeno, the founder of Stoicism. Zeno of Citium, or Citium, I believe he's called. There are a lot of Zenos throughout history. So, Stoicism has a lot of its roots within Cynicism, ancient Cynicism, and even further back to Socrates himself. Now, Socrates himself wasn't a very big fan of selling wisdom for profit. Funny how that goes. And he has a course on his site called How to Read Epictetus. I don't know about you, but of all the Stoic text I've read, Epictetus was by far the easiest to understand. Although I did get a really shitty translation of Meditations. But I'll leave an audiobook to the Enchiridion. It's only like an hour long, I think, and it's very, very easy to follow. And for free. Now, I'm not really in the mindset of guilty by association, but when we've already had those red flags and the topic of Robert Greene's philosophy, it does have some weight. Now, Robert Greene, if you didn't know, was the mentor to Ryan Holiday, and he wrote the 48 Laws of Power. Basically, the Enchiridion, but evil. I'll make a video on the 48 Laws of Power soon. But in short, the 48 Laws of Power is a self-serving, greedy philosophy, and the art of seduction's even worse, with undertones of dubious consent at best. So for me, combined with everything else previously mentioned, that rubs me the wrong way. From what Epictetus says about the Epicureans, he would go postal if he found out about the 48 Laws of Power. Well, he's Stoic, so he wouldn't care. But man, he throws a lot of shade at the Epicureans in discourses. Now, I've heard Ryan Holiday say some things that can be fine on their own in a practical context, but they're just not Stoic at the end of the day. One thing he said in a political video was, sometimes being an adult is choosing the lesser of two evils. I might be paraphrasing that. I can't remember it very well.
The ability to compromise, the ability to make choices between lesser evils is essential.
This is not a Stoic statement. To a Stoic, the highest possible good is unwavering and unchanging. That's what virtue is. Could you imagine if Jesus said, you can sin a little bit. That's how you be an adult. It doesn't make any sense. And notice the wording too. He says adult, not Stoic. It's a schizo theory here, so take it with a grain of salt. But I'm thinking he wanted to say Stoic, but deep down he knew it's not a very Stoic thing to say that. Which is why, props to him. He knows a lot about Stoicism. I just don't think he always has the best interests in mind when he uses it. Very, very, very good Stoic YouTuber if you use him rather as reminders and have a really good bullshit radar. The best example I can give as to why I say this is an anti-Stoic rhetoric is Cato the Younger, a man so unrelentingly Stoic that he would rather die than live under Caesar. He did not choose the lesser of two evils there. The lesser of, well, I guess it's the way you phrase it, right? In Ryan Holiday's video, it was picking two different political parties. Cato the Younger, it was either life or death. And Cato probably, my dog's name is Cato, he's walking around back there. Cato probably did not see it as a worse evil. Seneca speaks of Cato the Younger as a man so virtuous that the gods could not allow for him to die only once. He had to die twice. If you don't know, Cato the Younger, after Caesar came into power, he stabbed himself, and his men, seeing him bleeding out, stitched him back up, and in a fit of pure unbridled zeal, he ripped his stitches off and bled out. The words of Marcus Aurelius, I'll quote it directly. But if you feel yourself falling away and losing control, retire in good heart to some corner where you will regain control, or else make a complete exit from life. Not in anger, but simply, freely, with integrity, making this leaving of it at least one achievement in your life. He says, if you're trying to do good in the world, and if the only option is not to do good, it is better to die, or not make said choice. I'm of the belief both parties are evil, but that's the thing about politics. It's truly a game of words. Who sounds the best, in my opinion. Moving forward. This video is not intended to be a hate video on Ryan Holiday. I know I came off kind of hostile. That was not my intention. I believe you should not have him as a starting point, though. I believe you should start with the OG Stoics first, then watch Ryan Holiday's things with a more critical mind. After all, Seneca said, I don't know his exact wording, but he spoke of the Epicureans, and he was the only Stoic who actually thought the Epicureans had good virtues. Maybe not perfect, but something to glean information from. Epictetus was the opposite of that. He fucking hated the Epicureans. Critical thinking. It's what Socrates died for. And never, ever, ever, ever spend $119 on meditations. You can get it on Amazon for like $8. Matter of fact, I'll leave links in the description. Completely unsponsored, no money made from it, and I'll leave PDFs for free, as well as some other Stoic things to read/listen to get you started. You cannot buy your way into Stoicism. It is a philosophy like all others. It requires work, inner work. That's all for this video. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.